Hey guys, welcome to Grounds for Conversations. My name is Amber Noble, and today I'm so excited to have one of my favorite pastors on the planet. Did you know that?
Yes, I figured that I was in the top couple at least.
Yes. Good friend, Derrick. Derrick, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. You know what I was thinking about? Do you remember? You probably don't. I remember the first time we met. It was on a golf course. Did you know that?
I did. Yeah. Home of Hope golf tournament.
Yes. A long time ago.
Absolutely.
Like, what year was that? You had just started as a youth pastor.
At the Cowboy Church?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started there in 2011.
So it was probably
2011, 2012.
12, yeah. Yep. Yeah. What was crazy was your wife and I had the same purse, and that's how I connected with her. And then she introduced me to you.
Wow. That's what a connection.
I know, because she had it. And I was like, oh, I just got that same purse. And she's like, yeah, my husband's the youth pastor. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we probably got the purse at Target.
No, you did not. Probably her mom and dad bought her that purse.
Probably.
It's awesome. Okay. So I'm excited that you're here. You guys, you and your wife, Lindsay, you have
Yes.
how many kids?
We have 4 kids.
4 children.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Is that like a thing? So many pastors I know, it's like they have lots of kids.
If you would have asked me probably early on in our marriage, I would have said we need to have like 2 kids and that's it.
Yeah.
But then you start having them and you're like,
They just
love
keep coming.
this.
Yeah. Well,
I love it.
okay. On record. And it's I always have to have this conversation. I have adult children, and our adult daughter thinks that your children are the greatest, which we agree they are the greatest. But we have to tell her all the time, that's not real. Like,
it's not real that my kids are the greatest, or
it's not all kids act like that,
No,
right?
kidding.
They're just well-behaved kids, and I'm just like, Hayden, most kids are feral, so like, don't expect. That's a high standard, and she's just like, and I'm like, the truth is, they've parented well, and so the kids behave well. You have great children.
Thank you. Well,
And
we
they're
see
beautiful.
that they're great in spite of the things that we've done. They're awesome. We have 2 boys, 2 girls. Our oldest is 13,
Right.
11, 9, and 6. And so we did not space them out.
No.
And it's just chaos.
But it
all the
works
time.
because then they're all like friends, and they're hanging out, and they're doing life together.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Yeah. Okay. So how long have you been? I know there's some things that we're going to really dive in and talk about, but I think it's important that we go back a little bit to go, how did we get here? How did we get to this place? So did you always want to be a pastor?
I would say for most of my young life as a young man, my dream was to play professional baseball, college baseball, professional
Okay.
baseball.
And you're from Florida.
I'm from Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised.
Okay.
And, I just thought baseball was going to be the thing for me. Turns out you have to be better at baseball than I was.
You have to be good.
You have to be good. I thought you could kind of coast into it, and you can't.
Well, in all fairness, we teach kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be a princess. Well, then be a princess, or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And so for me, my dad is a worship pastor in Florida.
Okay.
And my grandfather was a pastor.
Okay.
Pastor and church planter. And so I've grown up around the ministry my whole life, or in the ministry. But it really wasn't until, I don't know, probably, I've always been musical. So a lot of people don't know that I can play instruments or sing or things like
I
that.
didn't know.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Okay, go ahead and sing us a song. I'm just kidding.
Do you want people to listen to this podcast, or?
Okay, I love it. Okay, so were you like, when you were in youth, did you sing in the youth band?
Yeah, so I started off as a drummer.
Cool.
That was just kind of, my dad said, "Hey, I need you to play drums tonight," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So
did you
played
know how to drum?
Not really at that point, but my dad forced me up there, and
Wow.
I don't think there's been a drummer in that first time that I played drums in front of somebody on a worship band. I don't think anybody's ever played the cymbals as much as I did in that moment. I could see my dad turning around like, take it a little easy here, you know?
Calm down.
But they sounded awesome. So I
Like
just kept
that,
hitting
what
them.
was that drummer's name on the Muppets? Do you remember that with like the crazy, his hair looked like mine?
Yeah,
and
I'm horrible
he just
with
like
names like that. So,
but that's how I imagine.
oh, it was
Okay,
100%.
perfect.
I
Okay.
was, yeah, it was not good. And then, you know, I started to sing and play guitar a little bit. My dad got me my first guitar and practiced at the house all the time. And music kind of came easy to me for a while. And then my dad took a position at a different church, and I had the most incredible youth pastor.
I love that.
Most incredible youth pastor, Steve and Kim Crutchfield. They live in Pennsylvania now. They're pastors at a church up there, and
You're still close with them?
yeah, we still talk. I texted them the other day. We went to Austin, Texas for arts competition that our denomination did. This was in like 2003 or 4, and we had one of our students that was just wild, and we were in Austin, Texas, and we couldn't find this kid. And we're not far from 6th Street in Austin. If you know Austin, you're like, this is not a good combination.
Or is it? No, I'm just kidding.
It could have been.
Yeah.
It was, I think my youth pastor quit the next week.
Sure.
Not really, but he wanted to. I know that.
Yeah.
And so I texted him last week. Hey, you remember that time that you almost died in Austin? And so
Did y'all find the kid?
we found him. Yeah.
good. On 6th Street?
His name's John. He lives in Miami, Florida now. We grew up with him. He's an awesome guy. But I'll have to
John.
send this to him. Yeah. I don't want to give his full name away because I don't want to ruin his family's reputation, you know? And so my
That's
youth
amazing.
pastor, he just saw something in me.
Yeah.
And he really started to pour into me. And I think he saw the call in my life before I did.
That's amazing.
Serving's always been something that I've enjoyed or wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so that just comes naturally to me. And so
Don't you
know,
think, though, that part of that is because your dad created a space for you to do it?
100%.
And it was like, not, hey, go do this, but like big things that you're like, I don't know how to do that. He's like, well, yeah, you do. Come on,
Yeah.
go play the drums. Come do this. And so your parents creating space for you to
100%.
to develop in your gift, right? Not
Yeah.
just to, oh, well, all you know how to do is change the toilet paper. So just change the toilet paper. But you know what I'm saying? There's
But I
something
did
to be
do those
said.
things.
Sure, absolutely. We all did,
Yeah.
right? But there's something powerful about creating space for the next generation to become passionate about serving, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. My youth pastor, he just saw that gifting and that calling in me. And so I started to lead worship.
Okay.
And so, me and some of the other, young kids in the church, we started to build a worship team and build it out. And we just had a great time. And our youth pastor, he just kept pouring into me.
I love that.
He's the first person that had me preach
Wow.
as a teenager. I don't think I would have ever done that as a youth pastor, to let this young youth guy just, hey, could you preach on next Wednesday night? I remember I prepared and I had like 40 minutes of notes, and 5 minutes later I was
You're
given
done.
the altar call.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, well, that did not go as long as I thought it was going to go.
I love that. Yeah, of course. How many people got saved?
Myself. I was the only one. I felt so bad after that message. I was like, I don't know if anybody got anything. I'm sure theologically it was probably up there of like top 5 worst messages ever given. But I was just passionate. I love Jesus and was not a perfect kid. Made plenty of mistakes. But I learned my love for the local church.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were going, I thought worship was going to kind of be something that I would pursue as
Right.
that's what we would do, or what I would do.
Right.
And went on a missions trip between my junior year and my senior year. My first trip, we went to El Salvador. And it was on that trip that I felt for the first time like a really clear call, like, you're supposed to be in ministry.
Wow.
And I know there's good and bad of short-term missions, but I'm a huge proponent of it.
Me too.
Because there's just so much that happens on those trips. It's the serving part is awesome. I think we could do less of the Instagram kind of I'm here to take pictures thing,
right?
For sure. But the conversations that happen when you're in the hotel lobby or you're at the church and you're just having conversations and the Lord's just using people to speak to you. It's like, man, I thought I came here to serve, but I'm a different person now.
For sure.
And so I actually signed up that summer. At the end of the trip, they said, hey, we do internships every summer for kids that graduate high school. So if you're interested, you can fill out this form and then go home and talk to your parents. They did it really tricky. I'm like, shouldn't we talk to the parents before we fill out something? But I was like, hey, listen, I felt pretty clear I'm supposed to come back and be an intern. And so me and my best friend, Brandon, from growing up, we both signed up and came back home. And I told my parents, I was like, Mom and Dad, I signed up to be an intern next summer in El Salvador. If you know anything about El Salvador, it's like there's gangs, there's
that's
drugs,
where the MS-13 gang is out of, right?
18th Street gang, yeah. And so it's like when you think about like El Salvador, it's not like I'm going to send I was 17 when I graduated high school.
Yeah,
so,
you weren't going to work at Disney.
Yeah, I'm not. No.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I told my parents about it and they were like, I don't know. What happens if something bad happens to you? And just out of I don't know, maybe it's my immaturity, but maybe my faith at the time was just like, I just looked at my parents and I said, well, if something happens to me and I die doing missions work, I could think of nothing greater of a place to die.
Oh,
and
that's incredible.
And my parents looked at me like, okay, all right, nothing else we can say.
All right. How do you argue with that? Right. Chapter 2 of Voice of the Martyrs. Yeah.
Exactly. Young Derrick Drake, 17, died at the hands of MS-13.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So did you go?
I went, and in the middle of that, so I graduated high school. A week later, I was in El Salvador. My parents is in the middle of all that with my youth pastor really developing me. That I felt a call to student ministry, and so I said, Mom, Dad, I need to go to college if I'm going to do this thing. And so they signed me up for Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. And my mom registered for my classes. I'm in the middle of El Salvador.
So mom's getting you set up.
I don't know what classes I'm going to even take.
Right.
I could talk to my parents like once a week. This is before cell phones.
Right.
I mean, there were cell phones, but it wasn't like
international was not an option.
International was not a thing. Yeah. I had a Nokia brick phone, and I think at that time I had a Nextel, like the two-way radio phone, because me and all my redneck friends, we thought we're truckers, we're just living the dream, like, boop, boop, you're there,
Yeah.
And so we had to call you had this payphones, you have to have a card to put in.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple dollars a minute. And so I could talk to them once a week.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't even know what I'm coming back to. I came back, I had a week, and then I moved into my dorm. And I was still 17 years old, turned 18 my second week of college, but
wow.
And just kind of jumped into it. And I think for me the call was really developed by people seeing the gifting in me and pouring into my life.
For sure.
And so I'm super grateful. I wouldn't be who I am today without a youth pastor that saw me and said,
I love that.
They got a gift and we need to develop that for the church.
I love that. That's awesome. So you went to school, got your degree as in youth ministry, right?
Well, that's a longer story.
Okay, so another time maybe.
No, I don't mind sharing it.
Share it. Then.
So I was at Southeastern.
Okay.
I was a pretty good kid growing up. I had one sip of beer in high school, and I was like, that stuff's disgusting. And I was afraid of my dad as well. So I definitely didn't drink. This is the world I grew up in, okay? I love my parents.
And I was afraid of my dad. So
yeah, and fear God, fear dad. That it's a good, healthy balance. And and so I went to college, and I think my first semester, my mom signed me up for like 3 8 a.m. classes, and I'm better today, but I still don't like waking up early. I'm not a people. Well,
you were called to youth ministry, so you're wired. There's no scientific proof, but I believe this. People who are called to work with students or young adults automatically are night owls. Automatically don't love mornings. Automatically are bent on like kind of a twisted humor. Like there's some things that just kind of automatically are there. And it's like, oh, okay. Like I don't know any youth pastor. It's like, oh, it's 5 a.m. Let's get up and watch. No.
Yeah.
No.
That's definitely not me.
You get up and go to the restroom and go back to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if there's like 10 minutes before your alarm goes off, I'm like, that's 10 minutes of sleep.
That's 10 minutes. That's a gift from the Lord.
Yeah.
That is a gift from the 100%. Lord.
And so I went to Southeastern.
Yeah.
First year went okay. Not great, but okay.
Lots of 8 a.m. classes.
Yeah. And I think because I don't, I didn't really I did my ACT and I knew I was going to Bible college. And so I was like, I don't need this. And so I just didn't even study. I just went and took the test.
Right.
And evidently that's not how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
And so when I got there, they're like, well, you need like remedial math.
Yeah, you have to take these, I don't know how you graduated high school classes. Yes. They should call them what they are. Like you shouldn't be here, but we're taking your money. So sit down.
Yeah. So
classes.
you're going to pay a lot of money at a private Christian university to take basic math.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like math came pretty easy to me. It was just like going through the test. I was like, I don't have to do this. I'm going to Bible college. What youth pastor needs to do this? And that was
a youth pastor
smart.
That's given no budget.
Yeah.
It will come in handy someday.
Exactly. Yeah. So fast forward to my second year, met a group of friends, great guys. We still communicate from time to time. But it didn't go well the second year. And I found myself, I drank for the first time, really drank for the first time in our dorm. And we had a no tolerance policy at our campus.
Of course.
And plus I was 19 at the time. I was like, I had no business doing anything that I was doing. And so I drank in the dorm, one time, and I didn't pace myself, I should probably say. And so it was the first time I'd really drank, and then I ended up drunk. And everybody in the dorm was like cracking up because here's the pastor kid, Derrick, who's the good kid in the group, and now we have him drunk. So somebody took pictures and videos, and we're laughing and cutting up. Well, that's kind of sent me on a spiral that semester.
Sure.
And I started to hang out with the wrong people from the restaurant that I worked at. Waking up in people's houses and like, this is not me. I don't know what I'm doing. And so long story short, somebody found the pictures and the videos.
Oh, wow.
On the network, on like the college network, and sent them to the dean.
I was gonna say like, what, on MySpace?
Yeah. Facebook had just come out, but you had to have like a .edu
yes.
Email address to have Facebook.
Yeah.
But somebody found them on the network, because when you plug your computer in to the network, like back in the day, like this is
everything
Wi-Fi.
loads up, right?
Yeah, so you plug it into the wall, and you got access to everything,
right?
And so somebody found them, sent them to the dean, and so the dean called me and like I was 4 or 5 of my roommates in. And one of my roommates, this is so bad. So he had red hair and basketball player, awesome dude. He was not in any video except for his arm is reaching out and he has a drink in his hand and he's got red hair on his arm. And that's the only way they caught him.
We saw your red hair.
We saw you. And so the dean calls us in, and I'm thinking like, what have I done? What do they know that I've done? I'm trying to figure out like, how do I spin this?
Right. It's not what have I done, it's what have they known?
Yeah, what do they know? 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're not like, I don't know. You're like, oh, how much do they know, and where are we going with this?
So the dean calls us in. I sit in the dean's office, and he said, Derrick, have you been drinking on the campus? And I was like, no. I mean, why would I? Well, I'm giving them like because as I have the young innocent face. I'm 19 at the time, and I'm thinking I've got this, and so I'll flub my way through this. And so he flips the computer around, presses play. And
that's always hard, because then you're just like, do I make eye contact? Like, what do I do in this moment?
Yeah, and he looked at me and he's like, what do you have to say? And I was like, well, I guess you got me.
Oh my goodness.
And so they said, well, we have a meeting on Wednesday night with the disciplinary board, and we'll let you know what's going on. And so I'm thinking like, I'm going to be on probation or,
right.
I'd not done anything other than that. And So they called us back in on Thursday morning, and they said, we've made a decision that you have 48 hours to be out of your dorm. You're kicked out.
And you had to tell your parents.
Yes.
That was the hardest part, wasn't it?
That was I'm trying to think, like, how can I not call my parents and tell them what just happened? And
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm trying to, like, I'd been the pretty good kid in the youth group and the one that a lot of the kids looked up to. And now I'm the one that had messed up everything.
Right.
And so I had to call my dad, and I said, Dad, I need you to come get me. And I explained what happened. I said, I have 48 hours. And so he drove down with a U-Haul. Ooh. And it's probably the first time that I had, like, the big mess up in my life. Like, I've really done something bad here. To some people may listen and they're like, well, that's not that bad. But to me, this was like,
right.
I prided myself on being able to do things well and be successful. And
the reality is, you knew that it was less about what you did, but the fact that there was a character shift and you were not, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, because the people will hear this and justify that is not a big deal, but it's a big deal when you know that you were running after God and then you weren't. And so that's the problem. The drinking in the dorm was the result of a heart issue, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what that ride home was like.
So I had prepared myself. I thought, so I packed up all my stuff. My dad was driving down the next day to come get me. And I was like, no, to be clear, my dad has never beat me. But he was a disciplinarian.
Right.
And I'm thankful for it.
Right.
And I just kind of prepared myself. I was like, this is the time. My dad's we're going
to throw hands in the parking lot
right now on this curb and in front of all my friends. And he pulls up.
All of you guys got kicked out, right?
Not the whole dorm.
Did the redhead get kicked out?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the arm. It was the arm. And so, long story short, my dad gets out of the car and I'm standing there and I'm like, I just got to take it like a man. I'm just going to sit here. And my dad walks up to me and he gives me the biggest hug he's ever given me. And he just says, I love you, son.
Wow.
And it was the first time in my life that I'd really experienced grace. And, I was not perfect. I made mistakes and I did dumb things in high school, dipping and hanging out with the wrong people here and there. But I for the most part, I felt like I was like, I'm at least like, I'm not doing the big things. And that's like the
right.
I'm not really messing up. And
right.
so, and it's funny how you weigh your sin
based off. Yeah. And you judge people who sin differently than you.
100%.
Right. So it's like,
how could you?
Yeah. I'm not doing what they're doing now, but you got your own stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And we all do. So
for sure. And so it was the first time that I had the big mess up, and my dad was so gracious.
I love that.
So gracious. It's probably the best picture of my life of the grace of our Heavenly Father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to where you feel like you're going to get punished and judged and all these things, and he just wraps his arms around you. And it's like, I love you, son. And so that was a journey.
Right. Sure.
And we didn't even plan to talk about this part.
No,
but here we are. And so, long story short, I signed up for an internship program with a school of ministry.
Okay.
Like the denomination we grew up in, you had these like schools of ministry at churches.
Well, I would say during the 90s and early 2000s, every denomination had their version of a school of ministry.
Yeah.
Churches started holding night classes for people who wanted to get certified through. So like if a church was a certain denomination, whatever school they had, they would do a partnership. And it was great because you're getting education, but it wasn't really anything that would carry you outside of that denomination.
Yeah, for sure. Once you're outside of the denomination, it's like, what kind of degree do you have? And you're like, I love
Jesus.
people and Jesus.
Right.
And so I signed up for this internship ministry school thing, and it was really hands-on. You were taking distance ed classes, serving in the church.
I think so I think the benefit of some of the schools of ministry stuff that they did, or leadership schools, or whatever that churches do, is more than seminary or Bible school. It gives you hands-on, because they're like, okay, you're signed up. Guess what? You're serving in the foyer of the kids ministry building this week. You're like, wait, what?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you're going to read these books and we're going to talk about it. But so there was a lot of instant hands-on. So there are some amazing things that you don't get on a college campus.
For sure.
You're thrown into the hard parts of ministry that seminary doesn't prepare you for.
Yeah. And what I knew, this was the second time that I really experienced grace. I was back home early from the semester.
Okay.
Our senior pastor, who was very gracious with me and did Lindsay and I's wedding, love him and his family, incredible people. And he just said, Derrick, I understand what happened. I'm so sorry, but I need you to not do ministry for just a little bit. Just sit and be healed. And that was great advice. You don't want to jump back into something after you just have this big failing and failure.
Right.
And so I'm back home. This evangelist comes to our church that I'd known for a long time. And we knew him from youth camps and conventions and all the things. And he sees me and he's like, and this is the couple that had the ministry. And he said, Derrick, what are you doing? Like the age-old question, what are you doing with your life? Right. Like, why are you back home? And I was like, well, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I'm like trying not to spill
there was
the beans.
A video.
Yeah. And so he says, why don't you move to Tampa with me and be an intern and do our school of ministry? And I was like, well, and so then I felt like, okay. So I said, listen, his name's Sean. I said, Sean, I don't think you want me in your school of ministry. Oh. How I saw myself was damaged goods.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking, what I thought I was going to do is I'm going to go to community college. I'm going to go get a degree and I'll just figure out life.
Right. In
my mind, in my immaturity, I thought ministry was off the table. I couldn't even make it through Bible college. Are you serious? And so I was telling Sean, hey, I don't think you want me. And he says, Derrick, I don't care what happened, but I know you have a call in your life and I want to help you. Move to Tampa. And I was like, wait, but you don't understand. This is what I just told you.
Right.
And so I moved to Tampa. It was a really strict school. So you couldn't date. You couldn't talk on the phone past 9 p.m. You couldn't ride in a car with girls alone. I got all these things. And some people look at that and you're like, well, that's a cult. But for me, what I knew is after what I just experienced, I needed that structure in my life. And so I really thrived on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need this. If I'm going to give ministry another shot, then I need this because I need structure in my life. I need accountability. And so long story short, I was in Tampa for about 6 months and then they took a job in Texas.
Okay.
And so they brought everybody together and they said, hey, took a job in Texas. We're moving to Texas. We're moving to school. I'd never lived outside of the state of Florida other than like El Salvador when I interned.
Right. Well, South Texas and El Salvador are very similar. Yeah.
I'm not going to bite on that one.
Yeah. You don't have to. I just served it. It's there.
People get really mad when a non-Texan says something about Texas, so I'm not.
Well, my birth certificate. No, I'm Texan.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you're Arkansas or.
No. I love Arkansas. We were in Arkansas for 30.
So I'm very comfortable making Arkansas jokes.
As am I.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
But and I'll make Florida jokes too because have you seen that thing where you can go online and type any day of the year and put Florida man and that date and it's whatever happened in the news that day, like hours of entertainment.
Florida is wild.
Buck wild.
I mean,
like
you got people on zombie drugs, like trying to chew somebody's face in the middle of the highway. Are you serious?
Outside of Waffle House. It's always outside of Waffle House. So
hey, but listen, those hash browns.
The best Waffle Houses are in the sketchiest places.
Absolutely.
But if you're ever like in a situation, like say it's your first date and it's like going weird and you don't have anything to talk about, pull out your phone, open up Google, say, you want to play a game? Let's do this. Florida man, and just throw a date out and just sit and talk about it. I'm telling you, that's good advice right there.
It probably is. I'll have to do that with Lindsay. And we may not visit Florida ever again once she sees what goes on in that state.
I'm telling you, we sat around a table one night and laughed because everybody was just throwing out their birth date. Yeah. What happened the day you were born in Florida?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, one dude threw an alligator through the window of a drive-thru.
See?
He was mad at the drive-thru and just, I'm going to throw an alligator. And
I love that.
Who's like, let me go grab this alligator real quick and throw it inside a window.
How did he know how it would throw? Like, it's...
I think it was a smaller alligator. Yeah, a
little bit bigger than football?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, okay, so you moved to Texas.
We both have ADD, and so this...
Major.
So if some of you're lost right now.
What if I was right there like, no, I don't?
Then everybody would know that you're lying.
You're lying.
Because we're popcorning here.
No, but this is good. Okay, so Florida, alligator, moved to Texas.
Yes.
Go.
So moved to Texas. And so I'm interning with the denomination, with the district office and the
Where in
local
Texas
church.
Were you?
I was in Spring.
Okay.
So moved to Spring, Texas.
All right.
And that is where I met Lindsay.
Okay.
But we were...
Who is the cutest thing in the world, y'all?
She's the best.
She's so stinking adorable.
She's the best.
Like, she's like a real life Disney princess.
Yes. So, so I moved to Texas, and I didn't know anybody here other than the people that moved to Texas with us at the school. And so we're doing ministry, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I walk into church on Sunday morning, and I see this blonde-headed girl singing on the stage, and I was like, it was like
that's the one.
The aura around, it's like touched by an angel on the stage, And so I asked
Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Here starts playing. And you're like, there it is. There it is.
This is it. The Lord is speaking right now. And so I asked another friend of mine, and I said, her name was Lindsay as well. And I said, who is that girl? Because I've got to know her. And I don't want to just know her. I'm
going to marry her.
Yeah. And so
Tomorrow.
She said, oh, that's Lindsay. And, she's dating somebody. She'll probably get married. And I was like, well, that's deflating. And so, my dreams were crushed. I was ready to move back to Florida, and no. And so
music stops immediately.
Yeah. The Spirit stopped speaking and moving in that very moment. So long story short, I got a call from a senior pastor in a small church, country church in Splendora, Texas.
Okay.
And I say Splendora, but it was actually in Plum Grove, Texas. And if you don't know where Plum Grove is...
Don't they just have one light?
Plum Grove, I don't know if they have a light.
Okay.
Splendora does, and there's a light right before you get into Plum Grove, but I don't know if Plum Grove has a light. They may now.
Okay.
But at that time, it's a small town.
Right.
And so he reached out, and he was like, we're looking for a part-time youth pastor, and feel like somebody your age and being an intern, like this could work. And so I was like, let's just try. Let me go interview. It was just me.
Right.
So I drove out to this church on a Sunday morning. I was wearing the ugliest suit you could ever imagine in your life. Because this is back in the day when,
you wore suits.
You wore suits to church on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a suit that my dad's boss bought for me in high school because he knew I was going to school to be a pastor. He's like, you need a good suit. This sucker was gold, like shimmery gold. I don't know what I was thinking. I had it looked
like an Arsenio Hall gold suit.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know who Arsenio Hall is? I'm a lot older than you. I don't know.
But we're gonna move on.
Okay, go ahead. Great. Go ahead. As I suck my thumb and rock back and forth
and
over
next,
here.
We're gonna talk about
Amber's age.
Yeah, and age gaps. And so, I show up to this church, and the people were so kind. And
because it's Texas.
Yes. And
you need to know
I'm telling you, this little town was a godsend to me. And so I said yes. And so I did part-time youth pastoring. And in that time, I found out Lindsay was single. And And so we were hanging out with like the same friend group, and we started to kind of like
That music started playing again.
Yeah, the Spirit of God was...
it's back.
Yeah, it's back. And so we started to really like each other. We held hands at summer camp and got in trouble for it.
Summer camp gets people in trouble all
Listen,
the time.
if you hold hands at summer camp, it basically leads to babies. And
That's what they tell you.
Yeah, so we held hands. Anyways, we started to like each other. And I was at this church, had my 21st birthday.
You were the youth pastor at camp?
No, so I'd already committed to be at the summer camp for the 4 weeks. And so before I took the job with this church.
But you weren't a camper. You were like...
No, I was the leader.
A leader.
Yeah, Lindsay and I were rec directors.
Okay.
And we were lifeguards, and that was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Because we sent quite a few kids to the hospital whenever we were playing the games.
Sure.
And so I apologize, whoever that was. If you're watching, we were just young and immature. But we were at this camp. So, I was at the camp. Our students came, and I was able to be the youth pastor for the week. But we led worship through the summer and did all kinds of stuff. And so long story short, I'm at this church for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Some of the best people. I mean, these families took me in like I was their own.
I love that.
And they will never know the impact they had on me and Lindsay. They were just so sweet. And, so Lindsay and I got married in 2009. So I was there for, a year and a half, and then Lindsay and I got married, and I went to the pastor, and I was like, we're trying to figure out how we can make this work, As an intern, it's like you're making peanuts, and trying to figure out how do I just want to eat. If I can eat, I don't care what I make.
Right.
And then you have a spouse, and then you're like, all right,
they have to eat too.
Yeah, they have to eat too. And so she got a job, and I had, the church gave me a raise, and they were gracious, and we were loving it. We were having a great time.
Okay, let me insert right here. I don't think people realize that ministry jobs are not, they just are not, like when you say yes to ministry, that also means that it's a sacrifice, because it's not a 9 to 5, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
But ministry jobs typically are not high paid jobs. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that people understand.
Yeah, I think like especially early on, when you're first starting out, you're making not a lot of money, and you're working really, really hard.
Right.
And
right.
And honestly, as I was single, I'm like, I don't care how much money I make.
Sure. Well, because you're like, look, I can live off ramen, and I love what I'm. Yeah. Well, because it's a calling.
Absolutely.
It's a calling for sure.
Absolutely. And then as you go, your church takes care of you, and you're able to pay bills and do all the things you need to do. But these families in this church that were our youth leaders were just the best.
Yeah.
And so grateful for them. The pastor that hired me, he is the most loving pastor I've ever met in my life.
Is he still pastoring?
No, he's retired now.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times I told him, like, you need to kick that family out of the church. They're awful. And he's like, Derrick, we just got to love them to Jesus. I'm like, no, you don't. You just kick them out. And
I love that.
He just, pastor's heart to the core. And so once we found out we were pregnant with our first, Dalen, I went to him and I was like, all right, I don't think I can make what I'm making right now and have a baby. And so he's like, well, 2 things. I'll talk to the board, and we'll get together and see what we can do to take better care of you. And then 3 or 2. So I said, wow, that's a 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So 2 things, 1 and 2. I just jumped to 3.
That's okay.
The second thing he said, if you want to start looking around for a job that, like another youth pastor job that will pay you better, you could do that. Take your time. And if you find something, we'll bless you on your way out.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, wow. That's, I didn't know you could do that. That was pretty amazing. And so we started to
Well, you know that not every place.
No.
Not every place is like that.
They're not.
No.
Not at all. And so, we kind of put our name out there in the denomination we were in and interviewed at 3 places. And we chose a church in Montgomery, and we were youth pastors there for almost 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so about 10 years of student ministry, and loved it. I thought I was going to be like the lifer student ministry guys, like that's what I was going to do. I was going to be, until they're like, dude, you got gray hair. You need to get off the stage with these youth. And you still have to force me.
Right.
That's what I thought that I was going to be doing.
Well, I think that there's something I think there's something to be said, and I have to be real careful how I say this. There's something to be said about people who feel called to youth ministry and then God opens a door later and calls them to pastor a church, versus people who are like, I want to pastor a church, but I'll use youth ministry as a stepping stone. Because like we've already discovered I'm quite a bit older than you, but I have been student ministry, young adult. That will never not be my passion. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like when that is your heart and you're like, I give it all. And even when the Lord's like, yes, you can still have a passion for that, but I'm expanding it and I'm adding the rest of the church. Because anybody that knows you, then they see you in action. Your heart for the next generation is still very evident, right? So when you meet a youth pastor whose passion is youth and not just ministry, listen, if you're like, hey, I've been called to ministry, but this was the position I took, nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
But there's just a different level of connection with students, I feel like you see it. It's just, it's really cool. It's a really cool thing. So
yeah, you can see, like, at least when I was first starting out, the average stay for like a youth pastor, in stats, they're all made up on the spot, it seems like. But from what I was told is, they were, average youth pastor stay was less than 24 months at a church.
For sure.
And it's very quick, and it's like, I'm going to go to the next thing, and a bigger church and a bigger youth ministry and bigger budget and all the things. And I just was like, no, it's not what I want to commit.
Yeah. I'm here for life.
Like the first church that I was at, that Lindsay and I were at, they had 3 youth pastors in about 2.5 years.
Wow.
And they would come in and then they would quit, come in and quit. And so I was like, that's not me. I'm going to stick out. One, I hate moving.
Yeah.
I don't want to move. I want to plant my roots deep and stay. And I just committed to it. So we were in 2 places, 10 years in 2 different places.
Wow.
In student ministry. But in the middle of the second church, I started getting more opportunities to speak on the weekend. And I loved it. And I was like, oh, there's something different when you're speaking to adults. There's a different level of preparation. There's a different level of understanding. And it's not that students can understand a lot, way more than we give them credit for. But there was this level of like, oh, I think there's something there.
Right.
I think there's something there. And so God started to kind of work on me a lot during that time of even my own study and knowledge and understanding what was next. And so I started to communicate those things. Like I feel like there's something changing in me to where I really want see some kind of adult ministry. I didn't know what that meant. But that's what I was feeling and sensing. And the strange thing with the church world, it's like there's no proverbial ladder to climb. How do you go from student ministry to adult ministry? How do you go from adult ministry to lead pastoring? There's no clear direction because it's all based off calling and giftings and all the things. And so I just wasn't sure how we were going to make that happen.
And so the Lord just continued to grow you, and you eventually stepped out from there. And to prepare for a season of planting.
Well, no, not originally. So what we knew, what basically what happened is I felt like me and Lindsay both felt really clear, like clear from the Lord, you're supposed to resign. And
which is so hard because you had such a dynamic youth group and these kids loved you.
They were super sweet. So those that don't know the story, Amber came in after Lindsay and I, and she crushed it. And I was like, I was a horrible youth pastor based off of what Amber was doing.
The old lady comes in. No, well, and this isn't about me, but like I had been in youth ministry for so many years, and we had a season where we were doing something else, but I was still speaking at camps and at youth things and stuff, and we thought we were going to plant, but Phil, not we, because he's so smart. He said we could plant, but we're so tired, people will get hurt. We don't need to plant, and I'm like, but we know how to do that. We know how to do church. And this church contacted us and they were just like, hey, and so we threw our name in there, and I'm like, I'm not cowboy at all.
But I do have
your cowboy
cowboy hat on today. Shout out to all the cowboys out there.
All the
I'm
Cowboys.
with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm not cowboy. But I'm Texan.
Yeah.
But I love people like you. And I'm like, I will, as long as I don't have to be something I'm not, and I can love people where they're at. And I think that they gave me a safe place to do that, which they did you as well.
100%.
And so I didn't have to, I still don't own boots. Now I've had a couple people buy me boots and I've given them away because I'm like,
I'm so sorry that Amber gave your boots away that you gave her.
I'm not, because I told you I didn't want them to begin with. But
I have like 5 pairs of boots now, and I love it. I actually enjoy boots.
well, but can I just say this? In Texas, men wear boots because that's like dress shoes.
True.
Like, we never lived on a farm. My dad wore cowboy boots all the time.
Yeah.
That's because he's Texan. Like, that's just what you do, right?
Yep.
But I'm just I'm not a boot girl. But the people that got the boots needed them. So it was a really cool thing.
There you go.
So, but the safe place to just love people. Now, I've learned a lot about the culture. I've learned all kinds of stuff about rodeo, all kinds of stuff about FFA and ag. And I have a love for those kids, and I will fight for that. And I see the value in it in the community.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like when we met, we were in missions and you were youth pastor. But I know that when you were stepping out, so many students, and that was never your intention, they just left. Because you were so amazing at what you did. And then they were like, do you want to come? And I knew you had this youth group of a couple hundred kids, and I come in and there's 15 kids there. I'm like, oh, is this a joke? Like, what are we doing here? You know? And and then having to build that back up. But it just speaks a lot when people would talk to me about you. They're like, well, Derrick would blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, because Derrick's incredible. I get it. It's amazing.
Well, I think it goes to show that I didn't do a lot of things right. Because if you do things well and it's not built on a personality, kids will stick around.
Well, but there was a gap. It wasn't like you left and I came in. There was a gap. And but a lot of the kids that you pastored were from unchurched homes. And so it wasn't like their families were connected.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I don't think you did anything wrong. Those kids, like when I got to know some of them, they started coming back and they're like, oh yeah, I was here with Pastor Derrick and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, tell me about that. You know, and they would talk like, well, he baptized me and he was at Rodeo Bible Camp and he led me to the Lord and, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, that's cool. That's cool. You were very and are very loved by so many now young adults.
I know. It's really weird when you start, I'm like, oh, you're like married or have kids. I can't believe you have a child.
You can vote.
Yeah. Yeah. So we resigned in 2017,
right.
January of 2017. And
yeah, because I didn't come on until, I didn't come on. When was Harvey?
That fall, August.
Yeah, I came on
7th of,
I came on, you were January? Okay, I didn't come on until July.
Okay.
So from January to July, and that's a gap.
That's a long gap, yeah.
For students, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so we resigned, and I really wasn't sure what we were going to do. Lindsay and I had always said, we'll never plant a church, because that looks really difficult.
Yes.
We had seen friends do it, and I'm like, that looks so hard. And I don't know if I have that in me.
You have to unload a trailer every day?
Yeah, and so I went into the restaurant business. My in-laws used to be in a restaurant business, and so I worked in a restaurant business for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'd worked in restaurants before, so and I love people. So
right.
Let's do it. I'll work wherever. And so, I worked in a restaurant business, and it was in the middle of that we just had random people start coming to us like, hey, you should plant a church. And we were like, no, we'll never do that. And it's funny how the Lord, when you make those declarations, he's like, okay.
Never. That's a good word. Let's work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
And so, we just kind of, we had a couple things that happened in the middle of that. And we just said, hey, I think God's speaking to both of us.
Right.
Like this is something we're supposed to really look into.
Right.
And what we knew is we don't want to just jump into it. We want to make sure we have wise counsel, all the things. And so I applied for a residency in Houston called the Houston Church Planting Network.
Yeah.
Who's a phenomenal organization.
Yeah.
And we did 2
and
years.
it's interdenominational, correct?
It is, yeah. I mean,
I love that.
In my residency alone, there were Baptist, Presbyterian, I'm charismatic. We had just a gamut.
Right.
And it was
Right.
like, we don't agree on much, but we love Jesus and we love the
Right.
local church.
Wow, which is what heaven's going to be like.
Exactly.
Fun fact.
Exactly. And so we did 2 years of residency with them. And so in the middle of that, we started to kind of gather a team. This was 2017 to 2019. Started to gather a team of small people, our core team, and started to meet with them.
In your house.
In our house or in another. We kind of rotated at different houses.
Right.
And so, yeah, we had a few couples, and still to this day, some of them are our best friends. You know, they're just great people. And what we asked of them is like, hey, would you give us a year of your life to help us get this church off the ground?
Wow.
And they had to serve, they had to give, they had to be in leadership. Like we required a lot from these people, and they were in. They were in. They were leading the worship. They were leading the kids ministry. They were leading the Connect ministry. They were leading set up and tear down. I mean,
right.
And so fall of 2019, we started to have soft launch services. And it's kind of insider language, but what you do is you have services for like your team of people.
Right.
So you can work out the kinks and the details.
Absolutely.
Because, you get one chance to really make a first impression.
Absolutely.
And so if you show up and it's like, oh, we didn't think about that for kids ministry, that person's probably not coming back. And so we used that fall 2019 to really work out those details. And hey, we need to add this, or we need to get that piece of equipment. And so we did that. And then January of 2020, January 23rd, 26th, I don't remember the exact date. It's kind of blurry, and we'll see why in a minute. January 2020, we launched and had our official opening, and just incredible. I mean, you think like this is it, like we've done it, and
you had no idea what was around the corner.
No, I mean, we had 275 people on launch day, and we're like,
it's amazing.
I mean, this is just a beginning, and you're like,
watch what God can do.
Yeah, we're gonna have 1,000 people by next week, and you're like, I was so oblivious to some of this stuff, and my goal is never to like have this large church.
No, but healthy things grow.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, I think there's a growth that happens, and so we're 6 weeks in. Lindsay and I are in Florida at a church planting conference called Exponential, which is incredible. And we remember being in the airport because you kind of started hearing about COVID, and we were like, "There's like a lot of people wearing masks in the airport. Like this,
that's weird."
Yeah, like, and you started to notice people coughing, and you're like, maybe there's something to this,
right?
Actually, my message on launch day, I made a joke about COVID. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's just like Ebola, because one of our core values was contagious grace. So I used contagious grace, and I was like,
boom, COVID's here.
COVID. And then, oh man, that was a horrible decision.
Okay. So launch day. And then how many weeks after launch, how long after launch?
We were 6 weeks in after launch day, post launch. And then we got, they started shutting, the first NBA game shuts down, and you're like, something's really going on.
Right.
Stuff starts to shut down. And we were like, what do we do?
Right. I
mean, we didn't have any equipment to do anything, so we got a call from the school, and it said, obviously you can't meet right now.
Right.
We'll call you back when.
I didn't even think about that because y'all were meeting in a school. And so you couldn't even get in there to do like Facebook Live.
No.
Because the school was shut. I mean, you could not use the building. I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, we couldn't use the building. And
because a lot of churches, because everybody was shut down, but churches were still doing online church because they had space. But I didn't think about the fact that the school wasn't going to allow you to meet in their space.
Mm-hmm. So
by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So
wow.
We met in my office. I rented a little small office. There's a church in Conroe called Wake Church. Josh Gosney. They had an office space and had one open office, and so I rented from them.
Yeah.
And it was not much bigger than this room.
Right.
And
tiny.
We put an entire band in there. And I don't know how we did it. You ever seen like the tiny band like concerts?
Yes.
It was like that. It was horrible. We're buying all kinds of equipment. We're like, well, we need something to be able to put it on the internet. What do we need? So we're buying like gaming things. I'm like, I don't know. I've never gamed before, like online gaming and all that. I'm like, so I'm like, how do we do this? And then our friends over at the Cowboy Church, they reached out and like, hey, we have some equipment that if you want to borrow to get things up and running. And it was a lifesaver, because I was like, I don't know, we don't know what we're doing. And so we start streaming our services, online, and we realized quickly we're not gonna be able to do this in an office very long. Like this, this is a lot. And so some friends of ours that were on our core team, and the husband is on our advisory team, Jordan and Tara Austin, who own Ruthie Grace and Forged 86. They said, hey, we've got a warehouse. Why don't you come and do church in the warehouse? Like stream your services. So we met in Ruthie Grace's warehouse, and we streamed our services from there, preaching to the little red dot on the camera.
I love that.
And we had a great time, right? Like the funny part of all this is we had kind of decided early on as a team, we're not going to stream our services.
Right.
I know church streaming, there's from an ecclesiology standpoint,
right?
We want people
in
rubbing shoulders
and doing life together.
I think you call it something different than online church, but that's just my pedestal, and I'll.
But the thing is, and I think that your philosophy on that is great, because it's like, look, we're not meant to do life alone, and people isolated at home is not what we want.
Yeah.
But no one knew what we were about to walk into.
No, not at all. And so we did that. We were streaming, I think, for 13 or 14 weeks. The school had called us back and said, hey, when you're ready, you can meet again. Because we're in Montgomery County, and COVID didn't exist in Montgomery County.
Yes.
I mean,
it's kind of funny if you think about it.
It really is.
When you tell people, because they're like, our masks had masks. And I'm like, well, people in Montgomery County were just walking around without shirts. All these old men walking around without shirts with, Trump flags or whatever hanging off the back of their truck. They're like, America, nobody's making me wear a mask.
Right,
and you're like,
and so,
I don't know this is good.
Yeah, if this gives you like a picture, like we offered, like, we didn't make any declarations because we knew the area we were in of like what you can and can't do. But we did say, hey, if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. And we had one person wear a mask one time, and I think they realized they're the only one. And
that's the thing. It was super funny because I had been in, you see people wearing masks in their car by themselves, and you're like, what are you doing? Well, I had been in Houston where I had masks on, and I had come back to Montgomery, and just out of habit, I put it on and run in the store, and you would have thought I walked in with a semi-automatic. Everybody turns and looks at me like, what? Yeah, you're right. The gun would have been like, that's a cool gun. But they looked at me like, what are you doing? And I'm thinking, did we don't have to wear masks? Well, it was just where you're at. It was just kind of an isolated, and I don't want to make it sound like Montgomery County is like backwoods, but they just were very isolated on the fact that we don't think this is necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
And they kind of did their own thing.
People had strong opinions about it.
Strong?
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. And so I'm trying
America.
Exactly. And so long story short, we worked really hard during those 13 weeks.
Yeah.
We called everybody on our church roster. We prayed for them. Anything we can do to serve you. Do you need anything?
Right.
I mean, we spent more time on the phone than anything else. And just trying to like, hey, how do we shepherd people through this?
Right.
So we finally come back.
Yeah.
13 weeks later. And I think our first Sunday, there was about 30 people in a room.
Well, people were scared. People were scared to go back. I mean, even in Montgomery, they were scared. Montgomery County was scared to go back. And you get over into Harris County, which is Houston, people were terrified.
For sure.
There was like, I don't want to make it sound like we're like, haha, Montgomery didn't care. Like, the world cared.
For sure, yeah.
People were terrified because there was no answers and there was no absolutes and nothing made sense. And media was so good at like, you're going to die. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I just need some bread and some dish soap. But can I go into the store? I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like, because of what we were hearing, I was bringing all the groceries onto the back patio and washing them before they came in. Like, what kind of fear? Like, I was terrified.
There was a lot, yeah.
I was making my kids, our son came home from college. He was working. I would make him strip down to his underwear and go straight to the shower. He's like, this is stupid. And I'm like, you've been out in public and they're telling us whatever's on you is going to kill us, which is so like not faith. But I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I didn't know what we were dealing with. So
for sure.
That's how the whole world responded.
Yeah. So from that point on, when we came back, it was really hard. Mm-hmm. We would kind of start to bump up some numbers a little bit and then would go back down, bump up, back down. And for somebody who has a personality that I do, I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm a performer. I want people to see that we're doing well.
Right.
I want
so rejection is your greatest fear.
Oh, 100%. Wow. Yeah. And my least favorite question during all those times was, how's the church going? Because I was like, I don't want to answer that.
But do you know how many churches, which I hate this, how many churches shut down because of it?
Yeah.
And you guys were 6 weeks old and you didn't. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not on here for affirmation, but like, dude, seriously?
Yeah, it was.
You need to know and I know you know that, but like, I know churches that were big churches that shut down and never opened again.
For sure. Yeah. It's only God's hand. For honestly.
Sure. For sure.
There's nothing we did that was like, hey, this is why we made it. It was just God's faithfulness. And, so we start, I had never really had any struggles like this, but I remember distinctly waking up in the middle of the night, short of breath.
So when was this? COVID started in
fall of 2020.
Okay.
Is when I started to because I'm thinking I've got 4 kids.
Right.
I've got a wife. I've got bills to pay.
And we have a church.
We have a church that I don't know is going to make it.
Right. But also you got to factor in this part. It's not, people think church, it's like a program. What comes of the church is the people and their hardships and their brokenness, and people are without jobs, and it's like people don't know how they're going to make, and they're calling you as their pastor going, hey, my husband's company just laid off all these people, and you're trying to figure out, how do I pastor them through this fear that I don't know how to deal with for myself?
For sure.
Right? I mean, is that a valid way to say it?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly right. And I remember starting to wake up in the middle of the night like, are we going to be able to make it?
Were you having like panic attacks at that point?
I don't know if I'd call them panic attacks. Okay. Like, it wasn't like debilitating, but it was the first time that I'd like really worried about something like that.
Wow.
And that went on for quite some time.
Yeah.
Probably about a year, that I would just like, not every night, but it was like, I'd wake up like heavy on my chest. Like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Right.
And I've got kids and wife and church, and this was our dream to do this, and now it's not going very well.
Right.
And so that part was hard. And I think I underestimated the weight of that.
So that was 2020. The church started growing, but there was a shift that happened in you.
For sure.
And can we talk about that? I know we've talked about that before. We've talked about it, but, because, and especially with the way we were raised, mental health is not something that's discussed. It's like, just take it to the altar. And it's like, yes, please don't misunderstand. There's power in prayer.
Absolutely.
And there's power at the altar.
100%.
But there's also sometimes a process. Mm-hmm. And I think that people want that instant healing, and that happens sometimes, but sometimes healing is a process. And the process is difficult when you don't understand what you're being healed from. And I think mental health is such and it's like, what are you dealing with? So if you're comfortable with that, will you dive into some of that?
For sure. Yeah, totally comfortable with it. So this is 2022 now. So we're 2 years in to this church plant. And for me, I think I really underestimated the weight of everything.
Sure.
Like, pastoring is hard because there's a weight and a burden to it. You're responsible for people and their souls, and you're responsible for, people's paychecks, and you're the one that people are looking to. And it's like, I come from the vein of like, hey, just grit it out and make it work. And And so, I was doing that as best as I could. And eventually, it was Thanksgiving 2022. I remember feeling different, and I didn't know what I was feeling. And Lindsay came to me. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I think I'm okay. I don't know. And she's like, it doesn't seem like you want to be around anybody.
So that was probably when she asked you that question. Your answer, "I think I'm okay," was probably the most honest thing because you didn't know.
No, I definitely
You were like,
didn't know.
"I think I don't like." Can you like that feeling is weird because you probably hadn't even thought to yourself, "Am I okay?" until she asked you the question.
Yeah, for sure. She's really sensitive to those things, and she sees those things. And I'd never had mental health struggles at all, and not that I'm aware of in my life.
Right.
And so I didn't know. I couldn't put a finger on it. Couldn't name it. Couldn't like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. It was just like, I just know what I noticed is that I didn't want to be around people.
Right.
I wanted to break away. I wanted to avoid even family members. I wanted to just let me go sit in the hunting stand and just ignore everything. And that was kind of the feeling that I had. And it was in that moment that I was like, something isn't right.
Right.
Go to Christmas. Same thing. We're around the family, and Lindsay's like, you're not the same.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Wow.
And I really didn't know how to describe it, other than what I started to feel was just this dark, heavy cloud over my brain. It just felt like a darkness.
Yeah.
Like I felt unmotivated. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be around people.
Yeah. Which is
hard as a pastor.
Well, but it's also crazy with it being you because you love people.
I could talk to people all day long. Let's go hang out. Let's do stuff.
Anytime we've ever been around you, like strangers in a restaurant, you're just going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so that's knowing you. That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And Lindsay noticed it in me first. And so I just started to feel this darkness, this it just felt like a cloud. Like that, like, why do I feel this? I don't feel well. I don't feel happy. Just feel like, ugh. Everything was just like, whatever comes. I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Right.
And that affects your marriage.
Yeah.
That affects your church. That affects your children.
Right.
That affects it's like so many facets that it affects. And so on the encouragement from Lindsay, my wife, she said, I really think you should see somebody. You should go to a counselor. And
how did that make you feel? Did you get defensive?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go. I was just like,
well, because going to see a counselor means something's wrong with you.
Sure.
And if you're a man of faith or a woman of faith, like, I think we've got to normalize and create safe place for people. Counseling is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody should get counseling, honestly.
Yeah.
But when you're from a background where that doesn't happen, it's like, well, what do you mean? I've not killed anybody. I've not
I don't have
experienced
these giant traumas.
Yeah, like there's all these awful things haven't happened to me, so I don't need counseling. So I'm just curious if that triggered a defense in you.
It took a lot of encouragement from Lindsay.
Yeah.
And she was really patient with me. And
you guys, she's the best.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
Best.
And she had seen a counselor previously, and I was like, I've never seen a counselor. I don't even know what to do. And
do I lay on a couch?
I know. Am I gonna have to go sit naked on a couch and talk? Like, I don't.
What kind of counseling have you heard about? Like, don't go there. If they make you.
I don't know. Maybe we'll edit that part out. Maybe we won't.
It stays. It stays.
And so, so I reached out to some friends looking for a counselor. Somebody recommended somebody, and saw a guy in Spring, and it was super helpful. And so I don't remember how many sessions I had with him, but it was pretty consistent there for a while. And I was just trying to process, like, I don't know why I feel the way that I feel. I feel frustrated. I feel dark. I feel.
Did you feel? And can I ask this question?
Yeah, you can ask whatever.
Did you ever feel like you just wanted life to be over? Do you feel like you were at that place of not necessarily suicidal? Because I think there's a difference. I think there's suicidal or I just want to die. Those are two different things.
I definitely wasn't suicidal.
Right.
I don't feel like I was ever there, but
did you just go, I just would be okay if I didn't wake up?
I don't know if I ever said that or verbalized that to myself.
Yeah.
But I probably felt that.
Okay.
You know, like it would be easier
if it just stopped.
if my family didn't have to deal with this.
Wow. That's heavy.
It's really heavy. Lindsay's very gracious because she was very gracious with me because I was not in a good place.
Did your kids pick up on stuff? Were they like, Dad?
I don't know.
Or do you think
I mean,
they just didn't know?
They probably didn't know.
She probably really protected them from that. For
sure. I was really short, you know, because I felt like I had no more fuse. You know, I was like, I'm living. If you describe it, I was living like if this is a lid of agitation. I'm like I'm living right here.
Wow.
So any little thing, it's like
just get
blow
upset.
the lid off. You know.
Yeah.
And so, and that was something my counselor is like, you live with this level of agitation,
right?
And no wonder why you say you have an anger problem because you're here. Normal people, like not normal people. That's the wrong. He didn't say that. He's a better counselor than that. Right. You're not normal. And so he's like, you know, what's normal is to live down here.
Right.
And it takes a long time to get to where you want to blow the lid, but you're living right under the lid.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel that.
Right.
And so, I don't know, 6 or 7 sessions in, he basically told me, he's like, listen, I think you have depression.
How, when he said that, giving it a name, how did that feel?
I think part of me was...
You're like, I'm a pastor. I pray with people who struggle with this. This isn't supposed to be me. Like how did that feel when the name was given? You're sitting in the office, not naked on a couch, but you're in his office and this happens. Like how did that feel when that name was given?
I don't know how everybody else would respond to this, but I think I felt a sense of relief.
Sure. I can see that
because I could name it.
Okay. Now, exactly. It has a name.
And I knew what I was dealing with at that point.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I did everything well to address it. And, you know, It's been a process.
Right.
But I at least had a name for it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I see this. And so I reached out to our doctor and got on medication.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted was
Is that what your counselor was like? Hey, this might be a good idea to get some.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he's very holistic in a way of like, hey, this isn't something. This is to take the edge off. This is not going to solve all your problems. Right. But it is to take the edge off.
And it's also not always for forever.
No, absolutely not. I pray that I'm not on it forever.
Right.
But, you know, so I started taking medication, and I was on that for a little while. And then I went and saw a Christian psychiatrist who helps you manage your medications. Okay. And so we'd made some adjustments to my medication and found out in the middle of that, and this is going to be a shocker to you, but he diagnosed me with ADD.
Well, you diagnosed me a while ago.
I sure did.
You just are like, I've got the label, and now you got it too.
Yeah, we see each other. We know.
Listen, we've been for years part of a group. There's a group of us that are in this text thread.
It is an ADD dream.
1,000%. And one of our friends, whose name we won't mention, Tim, he likes to text at like 2 a.m. I'm like,
well, he's got 12 kids. He never sleeps.
Like the dude, he literally 12 kids.
No, he doesn't have 12, but
no, 19.
19. Okay.
His name is Tim Duggar. No, I'm just kidding. He has a ton of kids, but we'll get this late night text, and it's just like this is so random thought, but
some meme or reel.
And sometimes we don't even know what it's related to, but it's funny, and it's like, where did this come from? But yes, it would be a psychologist field day to just get access to that thread. Yeah. That this has been going on since like 2018.
Yeah. No, yeah. Weird.
It's been like I've changed phones twice, I think, since we've had this. Really? Yeah. Because one of mine got stepped on by a horse.
It's Cowboy Church problem.
I'm telling you, it fell out of my pocket and a horse stepped on it. I'm like, this isn't real life. This does not happen.
It does.
It does.
It does.
It does. Anyway, so that ADD that's real. That's real.
And so depression, ADD, all the things, right? So I'm trying to manage those things. And what I would say for me is I really underestimated the weight of what I was doing.
Yeah.
And growing up in the just grit it out kind of culture, I thought that I could just do that. That I could just, I'll push through this and I'll be fine.
Right.
And I wasn't.
Right.
And so we have a godly group of men that are part of our church that are our advisory team. They are our accountability. They all go to our church. They're all godly men. And I just reached out to them and I was like, listen, I sent him an email, again, based off of Lindsay's encouragement. Because no one knows that I'm walking through this.
I'm voting for her for president.
Yes. And so no one knows that I'm walking through this. And so she's like, you need to reach out to the advisory team. People need to know and pray with you. And so I just sent an email and I was like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not doing good. And I feel overwhelmed. I feel depressed. And I don't know what to do.
Right.
And these men were so gracious.
Is this before or after you went to the doctor?
After.
Okay, so you could tell them, like, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I've been diagnosed. This isn't just a feeling.
Yeah.
Here's the facts.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And they were the most gracious and loving, and they were so appreciative. Like, now we know what to pray for you.
Right.
And I was like, why didn't I do this a long time ago?
Because I know you're not asking, but I think that we have to recognize that the enemy's tactics have been the same since the garden. He wants to isolate us.
For sure.
He wants to make us feel like we're the only one that goes through that. And unfortunately, there are churches throughout history that have done a really poor job of explaining the gospel. I don't know how, like, I remember as a kid, like, you got saved, now you're saved, now live a godly life. But we forget that, no, salvation is the start. And so a person gives their life to Christ and they walk away, and half the time they don't know what they've gotten saved from, who they've been saved to. What do they do with all the baggage that they came into the church with? Because it's still there.
Yeah.
I'm still an addict. I'm still angry. I'm still having marriage problems. I still don't know what to do with my kids. I still, have these disorders or have these issues, or this trauma still there, but I'm saved, so I can't talk about any of this. And I mean, that's not a disrespect to the church, but we for so long, nobody knew what to do with that. And so if you talk about these issues, then are you really a Christian? And I think we really messed up in explaining that to be a Christian does not mean that there's not still issues and brokenness and hurt. Like, it's not a Band-Aid of perfection. What it really does, I think that we did opposite. What it means to get saved is, it exposes stuff for healing, not hides it.
Absolutely.
And we wanted to hide it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so for a pastor, I'm just imagining, like, growing up where it's like, well, give it to the Lord. You shouldn't have this. Give it to the Lord. And then it's like, here I am. I'm leading this church. I'm leading this family. And I have this stuff. And this is so counterculture to everything I've ever known. What do I do? So I can see going to your board, or not your board, but your advisory board, and to say, here it is, and having that place in the back of your mind. How are they going to respond? How are they going to accept? Are they going to accept me as their leader still? Because now I'm flawed. Even though you knew you were, you know what I'm saying? But are they going to respect me as their pastor if I'm honest about the brokenness?
For sure. And they were the exact opposite of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They were so gracious. And, I think, Paul writes about boasting in his weakness. And that's probably one of the least lived out parts of the scripture, I think, in the Christian world, at least in the modern Christian world, because we want to project strength and I'm a strong leader, because there is something that people like a strong leader. That's why we have so many narcissistic pastors, because we think, hey, they're strong. They know what they're doing. I'm gonna go for it.
Right.
And that is the exact opposite of what Paul is. Like, God gave me this thorn in my flesh. So I'm not going to boast in anything that I do. I'm going to boast in my weakness, if anything. Right.
Because he's strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just been, everybody comes from different theological camps, all that. But if I if I've had to walk through this depression thing just so that I can love my wife better, and I can be a better dad, and I can be a better pastor, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
But it also gives you, there's a student that I'm walking through some of this with that if you knew him, he's like dynamic. He's one of those kids like all American. He's gorgeous. He's funny. He's smart. He's athletic. And like Phil and I would lay our life down for this kid, love him with our whole heart. And he's dealing with some anxiety stuff. And he said the other day, it was so profound. He said, and I don't want to say his name, but he said, I used to look at people that dealt with this as like, get it together, man. What's wrong with you? Like, he said, I have absolutely nothing to be anxious about. My life is good.
Yeah.
So why am I dealing with this? And he said, if I'm honest, the Lord has given me such a compassion for people. And I'm like, that is a gift. That's a gift that in the things that we go through, it allows us to love people better.
Absolutely.
That's a gift.
100%.
God gave him a compassion for people that he didn't have before because he was dealing with that.
For sure. Yeah. So I think for me, I would be in that same boat. I didn't understand why people had mental health issues.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's the typical guy response. Like when somebody deals with anxiety and you're like, oh, just don't worry.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Yeah. Just don't do that. It's fine.
Right.
You're
Stop.
And that was my typical inward response when people would have things like this. Like, oh, just you'll be fine.
Yeah, you're all right.
And now that I've walked through it for the last, you know, almost 2 years, that it's like, gosh, what a jerk I was to think that I could just say, just get over it. And so something that I wanted to go back to and just clarify. I think with counseling, with medication, with all these things, I don't think everybody needs counseling.
When I say that, though, I'm just saying everybody in some season of their life.
Yes.
I don't think everybody needs to be in counseling their whole life.
For sure.
But you will not convince me that there's a person on this earth that hasn't or will not experience a season.
100%.
That's what I meant.
Absolutely.
Everybody. And if somebody says, I've never needed counseling, they probably need it the most.
Yeah, because they're in denial.
For sure.
So I think, you know, if you're walking through really difficult
Thank you for clarifying that. Everybody's like, all of a sudden, every counselor's booked for here on
exactly.
out. No.
We have a shortage of counselors. But I think ultimately, if you're walking through something really difficult and depression, mental health, anxiety, whatever it is, trauma, your marriage, it is okay to get counseling.
Right.
And my only encouragement would be is that it should be a biblical Christian counselor.
Absolutely. Which I think if you're involved in a good church, start with your pastor to say, what do you recommend?
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's a lot of, and like, your pastors aren't all counselors. They're not. Pastors usually aren't counselors, right?
No, we're not counselors.
They are shepherds. There's a difference. And so I think that we put sometimes this stuff on the church. And I know, like, somebody's having marriage problems, they go to their pastors. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But then there's a point sometime that you got to say, okay, who do you recommend me going to see? And I know that there are churches that have counseling services. They have on-staff counselors. There's we always used counselors in the area that we knew of, like in the Montgomery, Harris County. There's some great people that I'll send people to. Yeah. I've got like a whole list.
Yeah, we do too. Yeah. And just to clarify, what I mean is a licensed counselor with a biblical perspective.
Yes.
Because there are some people that say, well, I'm a counselor, but they've not done the training and the work. And I'm not saying there's not value. There's value in what they can bring.
There's a difference between a life coach and a counselor.
Exactly. Yeah. So just that would be my encouragement. But
yeah.
I think for me, David in the Psalms is one of the most beautiful things that he does.
Yeah.
His Psalms of lament are some of those beautiful passages in all the scriptures.
It's like this, and you see that he has highs and lows, just like us.
Absolutely. It's like, why have you forgotten me, God?
Right. He's like a middle school girl.
I will honor you and worship you. And you're like, what? What are you on?
doing?
Did you eat some plant you didn't know about? I don't know what they have in the Middle East, but maybe you ate something. So
calm down, David. Calm down.
Psalm chapter 6. This has been a help for me. But he just says this. He says, Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger. Do not discipline me in your wrath. Be gracious to me, Lord, for I am weak. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are shaking. He's in so much torment, so much suffering. He said, my bones are shaking. My whole being is shaking with terror. And you, Lord, how long? Like, how long am I going to have to shake with terror and suffering and just worry and pain?
Right.
And he says, turn, Lord, rescue me. Save me because of your faithful love. For there is no remembrance of you in death. Who can thank you in Sheol? I am weary from my groaning. With my tears, I dampen my bed.
Gosh.
I'm like, I'm not an overly emotional person.
Right.
But when I hear that, I'm like,
I get that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like, my tears dampen my bed and drench my couch every night.
Do you realize, though, that this is David saying, I'm doing this apart from people? Do you know what I'm saying? How often do we feel like we have to put on this mask of holding it together? I'm not walking down the street crying. He's like, when no one's around, I'm laying in bed sobbing my eyes out.
Yeah, I drench my couch every night. My eyes are swollen from grief. I'm like, the scriptures don't necessarily point to like a mental health thing, right? There's no like, you have some instances where God will send a spirit to torment somebody,
right?
Where they go literally crazy,
right?
You have David where he like fakes that he's like mentally ill and like a spittle running down his face. Like, there's some wild stuff in the scripture.
Yeah.
But there's no like, hey, if you have mental health, this is it. But you see these glimpses from like David. You see it in Paul where he's like, I boast in my weakness. Was
it Elijah or Elisha that wanted to die, went outside, was underneath the tree, took a nap. The angel of the Lord brought him food. He ate and then took a nap. It's like sometimes you need a snack and a nap. Like, exactly. You see that. And just because there wasn't a label of this is mental health, you see it threaded through scripture.
It's all throughout. And, so I think for me, knowing, I had a pastor friend of mine, a pastor mentor of mine. I was sharing with him, like, I'm struggling. And this is pretty early on. And he goes, well, let's just talk about your life. Like, what do you have going on? And I was like, well, I've got, me and Lindsay been married, we've been married 15 years. And then we got 4 kids. They're in these ages. They're, sports or church or whatever. And,
right.
We're in financial stress because I didn't get a raise. Not because of not really, it's really because of COVID. It's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it.
Right.
So from the time of the start of the church, I didn't get a raise for almost 4 years.
Wow.
And that wasn't like bad on the advisory team. It's just like,
no, it's like,
we're trying to make
we're
it.
just trying to keep the doors open.
Exactly.
Sure.
And so, financial stress, Lindsay and I were in a pretty tough season at the time, like all these things. And this pastor looked at me, his mentor of mine, and he goes, Derrick, no wonder why you have depression.
Wow. Your plate was so full.
Yeah. And he gave me this permission to feel what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. But, and I think my typical response is always, yeah, but it's fine. Like, it's not that bad. I'm okay. And so I always find a way to like,
isn't that crazy? You're like, here it all is. I'm going to expose it, but just kidding. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because why do we do that?
Well, I think what we do is we compare to other people's stories,
and we think ours is not as big of it.
Yeah.
We don't want to minimize. We look at people who have like they're fighting stage 4 cancer, or they just had a death in their family, or my situation doesn't seem as bad, and the reality is, it's bad because it's yours and you're still feeling it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I think we compare it to other people. And for me, I'm like, I didn't have big trauma. I was never abused. I never had like this thing. It's like, I could point to this to where this is why the way that I am. I never had those things. I had struggles, all this. It's life. It's humanity's experience. But I never had those things. So I thought, it's fine. I'll be okay. Like, somebody else has it worse than me.
Yeah.
And when you
there is, fun fact, there's always somebody who has it worse.
Always.
That doesn't diminish what you're going through,
Absolutely. Yeah. There's always a more horrific story.
For sure.
Of greater trauma. And so, resilience is not a bad thing.
No.
But I think there's a beautiful thing when you come to the end of yourself and it's like, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
And that's really where we should be living.
Absolutely. Because it means fully relying on God.
Yeah.
Which is what you see with David in that moment of going, do I have to keep doing this?
Yeah.
Who's he talking? He's not talking to himself. It's not a self-reflection. He's in the midst of grief.
Lamenting
crying,
to the Lord.
Yes. Just physically crying out. And yet you see, if you'll just keep going a couple chapters later, God is his refuge, his ever-present help in time of need.
Yeah.
Who shall I fear? Right?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
like, whoa. Like, that's the same guy? That's the same guy who's bawling his eyes out? And that's the beauty of our relationship with the Lord, is that we do have moments that are mountaintop. And we have moments that are valleys.
For sure.
But he's present in all of them.
Yeah. So I can't remember if it's a chapter before or chapter after, but David is, as he's fleeing from enemies, like his life is on the line, right? He's like hiding in caves, running from Saul.
His father-in-law.
Yeah. There's like this interesting line that he writes. He's like, I'm running for my life is in danger. And then in the middle of the Psalm, it just says, and I laid down and slept.
There's a sermon for you right there.
I'm about to preach it right now.
You are about to get it, and then you need to save it and do it again for your church.
I simply just laid down and slept. Why? He was able to lament. He's able to do all these things, but in the end of the day, he's like, it's all in the Lord's hands.
Right.
And
but because he said it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Instead of ignoring it and not addressing it.
Like, put it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah.
To the Lord.
100%. He can handle your lament.
Well, he wants it.
Yeah. Because there was this overarching thing that I kind of felt growing. I don't know if I was ever taught it, but it's what I felt. Is like, you can't lament to the Lord because that's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Because he's already done so much. He doesn't owe you anything.
Yeah. And so it's like,
right.
you don't want to question God. You don't want to lament. And it's like, then you read the Psalms and you're like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Are you like, David's like, are you just going to leave me here to die?
Right.
Like, you've forgotten me? Mm-hmm. Like, and there's this lament, this beautiful part of it that in the end, what David always is what you were saying. It's like at the end, he's like, but God, you're good and you're faithful. And I know that you're going to rescue me.
Right.
And so there's just this beautiful part of it. So I can wrap this up, but I think ultimately I'm in a way better place than I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I see a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like there's still a few clouds, but it's not a heavy cloud.
Right.
And I'm longing for that day to where it's like, hey, I don't have to be on a medication. I don't have to do this. Like I'm myself again.
Right.
But I'm feeling way more joy than what I was feeling 2 years ago.
And the beauty of it is you have such compassion for people who are
Absolutely.
going through this.
It's changed who I am as a husband or a pastor or as a leader.
I think it's changed, just hearing you talk, it's changed the way you understand scripture.
100%.
Because you're like, wait a minute, this isn't new.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't new. The medication or whatever may be new, but this is all real. And God was present in all of those moments.
100%.
Do you know, I think it's interesting that like when you were a kid, you know, and your parents would teach you have to use your words, like what's wrong? I don't know. And you never got better until you could explain. Like if you were upset, well, why are you upset? I had a bad day. Why? I had a bad day. But what happened? Mom and dad made you, good moms and dads, right? Would make you talk it out.
Verbalize what you're feeling.
Like I'm just angry. And then you find out, oh, it's because I'm hungry. Okay. I need to eat. When we verbalize, it opens a place for us to get what we need. And so there's something powerful about, number one, first taking it to the Lord, like David did. Hey, why do I feel like this? And then the Bible talks about wisdom and counsel.
100%.
And so getting good, solid biblical help, starting with your pastors, your Bible study leaders, your small group leaders, like, hey, and this is not, I know this is probably going to upset somebody. It's okay.
We're good at that, though.
This does not mean you go tell everybody all your stuff.
No, not one bit.
Please don't.
No.
But you find somebody and then take the counsel they give you. Sometimes, I think there are sometimes people, they just want to be miserable. And so they want to hop from person to person and complain.
For sure.
But when this is like a legitimate thing, you go, okay, hey, I'm going to meet with my pastor, or I'm going to meet with my leaders, whatever. And then I'm going to go get the help I need, knowing that is such a biblical journey.
For sure.
And that God's with you through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also look at how it changes the way you view other people.
Yeah. If you've not read the book Soul of Shame by Dr. Kurt Thompson, it is phenomenal.
Okay.
He talks about
Soul
this very
of shame.
thing, the soul of shame.
Okay.
And he talks about this very thing. The only way to get through the shame and the heartache and all the things that you experience in life is to do it through community with trusted people.
Yeah.
This is the only way. There's no way to get past the shame of what you're experiencing without, if you trusted people that you know and you do life with, and you're not sharing this with everybody in the church lobby, like as they eat a donut. Like,
please don't
do that. That's not wisdom.
Right.
But you're trusted people that, you know, like these are people, like, you know, it's like we say this phrase often, like in the church world, and Jonathan Mom just did a whole video on it. Like, we want to do life together. but really the people that you're living life
that
with,
you're doing life with.
absolutely, like those are the people you share it with. You don't share it with everybody.
Yeah.
But you share it with people you trust.
I mean, that could be a whole other podcast on what does it mean, trusted people, because community looks different.
Yeah.
Like, you've got your people that you go have lunch with and hang out with and go watch the game with. But when it comes to growing in your relationship with God, those people that are around you, doesn't that you can go to the game with them, you do all that stuff, but you've got to be comfortable with them calling you on your stuff.
Absolutely.
And challenging you in the things that you need to be challenged, because if you're not growing.
Exactly.
And if we're honest, we don't all like to be challenged.
I do not.
We don't like people when we've got an opinion or a feeling, and our feeling can be very justified, but justified feelings don't mean they're right. I'm mad because of this. Okay, that's justified. But as a follower of Christ, it's not right.
Yeah.
You have to, it's a real feeling, feel it. But now what are you going to do with it? Because you've got a responsibility as a believer to handle it differently than what justification says.
Yep.
Right? And so the people that are helping you grow that inner circle, if they're people that are not willing to leave you behind, that are not going to let you sink in the quicksand, that are going to call you on your stuff, that are going to show up with a casserole, but also say, get out of bed and take a shower, you stink. Those are the people that you need to be talking to.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have those people, and the people that in your circle don't look like that, change your circle.
Yeah, you need those people for sure.
You have to have those people.
And I think the hard part sometimes about ministry is it can be a lonely thing.
It can be.
It doesn't have to be.
I would say
designed that way.
in this time of life we're living in, a fully devoted follower of Jesus, it can be lonely because culture.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy, but also there's churches on every corner with people who are not radically running after Christ.
For sure.
And there's people in your church that are not radically running after Christ, that will justify their life looking the same as the rest of the world. And
check of the box.
Yeah. And it can be so lonely. And I look at you and Lindsay. So our daughter is actively involved in your church, and the way you guys have pastored and mentored her in seasons that she's gone through, it's just like that. And it's not because of who her parents are. It's because of who she is and who y'all are.
Lady, yeah.
And like, us aside, like the way you guys have loved her through things. I mean, it's like, we need community.
Have to have it.
I hear her on the phone yesterday, the day before.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And I hear her and then I hear this little giggle, and she's never home. Right. But, I hear her, this little giggle, and then she gets into this deep conversation, and I'm like, who is she talking to? She was talked forever. So she comes in and she's about to leave. And I was like, talking to her. She's like, oh, I was talking to Lindsay. On a Sunday afternoon, after you guys had church, you have your kids, your wife called her to check on her because she cared about where she was at.
For sure.
And I think that you guys are able to do that because you've walked through your own stuff. So our vulnerability as believers comes from, our ability to love other people comes from our vulnerability of owning our own stuff.
For sure.
Of going, I have some stuff that's not healthy. I've got some, wow.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to put that book. I'm going to make sure that we list that because that would be, people need to know that.
Okay.
So one question before we tie this up.
Yes.
For somebody listening to this, that whether they've been walking with the Lord for a long time or this is just a brand new journey for them and they're looking at their own stuff. They're looking at anxiety or depression, or maybe it's just a simple, I'm just overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. What would your advice be? Where do they start? Because they don't want to get to a place where it's just like they're admitted into a hospital because they've let it go.
For sure.
That'll happen.
No, it can happen. Yeah.
So what would be your advice for where people can start with where they're at?
Yeah, I think you first, if you're in a local church, you go to your pastor first and just say, hey, I'm starting to sense this.
Okay.
Can you help me with this? Or do you have people you can recommend to me?
Okay.
But what I would say is don't let your pastor be your counselor.
Amen.
Let
him be your pastor.
Let him be your pastor. He's going to give you biblical counsel, shepherd your heart, but he's not always going to know all the things that somebody has spent how many years in university training and teaching,
right,
and hours that they've trained. And so I would say start with your pastor, but you need to get to see a counselor, a Christian licensed counselor, therapist, to help you process these things and to figure out. And it is amazing. It is amazing how many people that we've recommended counseling to that come back like, wow, I did not know how much I needed that. Right. And so you do it. Yeah. Just take the lump and go. Yeah. Like, walk with a limp into the counseling session.
That's right. Own it. And then put it all out there.
Yeah. And you're only going to be healed to the level of your vulnerability and authenticity.
But you still don't have to get naked on the couch.
No.
Not physically.
No, but here's the thing. Like, I know we're closing, but we're pastors. We're bad at closing. What I was really good at is what's called vulnerability.
What is that?
I'm vulnerable enough to where it seems like I'm really being vulnerable, but I'm not really being vulnerable. Like fake. Okay. Vulnerability. I can be vulnerable enough to where people are like, oh, he's so authentic. Right. But I'm not really being truly authentic. Wow. Leave it, go to your counselor, lay it all out there. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm walking through. And I feel like I'm a mess. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like I would love to revisit this conversation down the road.
Let's do it.
I mean, I would like to talk to you about other things too. Yeah. But I think that this is something down the road because I think people are going to go, well, where is he at today with it?
For sure.
Because that's the beautiful thing about God is it's a journey. Mm-hmm. And much like David, because of your heart for the Lord, there's highs and lows, ebbs and flows, right? For sure, yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's recognizing that you need what you need and getting the help that you need in that process.
And you need a godly wife that'll be willing to speak that to you.
Yeah. If you're a man, you need a godly wife.
That would be helpful.
Yes. Yes. And if you're like, well, I've been waiting on that, that's surround yourself with the right friends. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Derrick, for being here. You guys stick around for the extra shot. All right, welcome back to this extra shot again with Derrick Drake.
Yes.
We just had a really intense podcast. Mm-hmm. I told you, I said, come with what you want to talk about extra shot wise. And you were like, I've got it.
Yeah. I have a pedestal.
Let's hear it.
And I will stand on it.
Go ahead. And I already know what it is, but what is your biggest, what is something that you just think is disgusting and needs to be done away with?
Church potlucks. They should be outlawed. Here's the deal. And
it's so funny because we're in the South and we love casseroles.
Yeah.
But you know what? The Midwest does too.
Yeah.
They do.
But
people like food.
There's a couple reasons for this. One, people don't know food safety.
Okay.
I mean, there's literal rules that you need to follow in regards to temperature of food and how long it can be out and all the things. They did none of that growing up. Just they put it on a table before church. We're gonna have a 2-hour service, and then we're gonna go eat the food out there and just pray to the Lord that you don't get food poisoning. So I think that's part of it.
Well, our church, we had refrigeration. They would put it. Most everybody brought things in crock pots.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they would have the deviled eggs and Jell-O stuff in the refrigerations. Okay, so
Jell-O salad and what are we?
It was gross.
What are we doing?
Do you like Jell-O?
I love Jell-O, but don't.
It's
put
a texture. It's flavored phlegm.
Yeah,
I don't like. You're like, yes.
Luby's, even as an adult, if I was to go to Luby's, I'm like, give me the Jell-O.
Did you get the one that's the multicolor, the red, white, and blue one?
Well, to be fair, we didn't really have Luby's back home. We had Piccadilly where I grew up. So they just had Jell-O just shaking.
Okay, so it's texture thing for me. I don't love it.
Yeah, so I think, one, people don't know food safety. And I'm married into a restaurant family. So we're very cognizant of hey, how long has it been out? What's the temperature? What's the date? Because there's a generational thing too, to where it's for older generations, best by dates are kind of suggestions.
Oh, no, sir.
You know what I mean?
No, sir.
You ever been to your grandparents' house and it's this ketchup expired 5 years ago.
This ketchup expired the year I was born.
Yeah, and it's
Why do we have
it's fine. We don't need to get rid of that. And you're like,
yeah.
So I think food safety. 2, everyone thinks that their meal is the best meal. I've never been to a church potluck and somebody not say, this is the best cornbread you will ever taste in your mouth, in your life. And you're like, you're a liar.
It just sucked all the moisture out of my body and I can't swallow it.
Yeah. And so everybody's thing is always the best, right?
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because their spouse tells them, baby, this is great. This is the best. This is the best I ever had.
I want to know why you're using that voice.
Because usually people who can't cook are married to somebody who say it like that. Baby, this is good.
I don't.
This beats them beanie weenies we had the other night.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it's because it's what they grew up with, and they think this is the best thing in the world. And no one's ever brought anything to a potluck to where they're like, this is just okay. You know what I mean? I made my ingredients casserole
and
for you.
Okay, can I tell you this makes me want to throw up. The grossest casserole that I have seen over years. It's not just this one lady had it. Every church potluck I've ever been to, they've had this. And it's either a chicken or tuna, but it has peas and it has Doritos on top. You know what I'm talking about? It's a casserole. I won't eat it. I'm not a pea fan.
I like peas, but I hate tuna. Tuna makes me grossed out.
But chicken or tuna, I don't know what it is, but it's got peas and a cream of mushroom sauce or something, and then crumbled Doritos. It's did you just say what's in the pantry? Put it in the pan.
100%.
And somebody was like, that needs to go in the cookbook. And then across the nation.
It's not good. No, I wouldn't eat those things. I mean, people bring things and are like, oh, this is cracked chicken. Or, and you're like, what am I eating? What literally am I eating? And so, yeah, I just think everybody thinks their deal is the best. And it usually is not. I do
that though. Do you know that? Because I love to cook and I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, but you're a great cook. We've been to dinner at your house. It's phenomenal.
But what if I'm that person and I'm like, oh.
I would tell you because I love you and you're a friend. Amber, if you
It's
Just
cracked out chicken. It's not even good.
Just don't make the cheesecake because it's awful. But yours is incredible. It's the best cheesecake I've ever had. And I'm not
Thank
lying
you.
when I say that.
Thank you.
I have dreams about that cheesecake. And so I think that's the thing. Two, that was the second thing. So the first thing was food safety. Second thing was everybody thinks their thing is the best.
Everybody.
And then third, can we address animals in the house and cooking and bringing things to the church?
Okay, so we have a dog.
Yeah.
But when our dog is old and when and she's too old to even try to get on a counter, but she's too big. She's just old and dumb. But like when we're cooking and stuff, she's not in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, she's just, but also like if you have a house, this is just, we're not telling you not to have animals. We're not telling you not to love animals. But if you have a house where there's animals, before you cook, here's some tips. Pull your hair up. Pull it up.
For the sake of everybody.
For the sake of all humanity. For generations to come who may not have been in the kitchen when you pull your hair up. Number 2, wash your hands.
Yeah, that's a good practice when you're cooking.
Lots. Number 3, roll up your sleeves or put on a short sleeve shirt. Why? Because when you pulled your hair up, it had been on your sleeves and there's probably pieces of hair or other things that your arms have touched in the process. And now it's just get rid of the sleeves.
Yeah. Like you ever seen the picture of like somebody cooking something and their cat's like on the counter?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've seen it and like I saw one where the cat's tail was in the pie crust.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like,
and you know that person brought it anyways.
They didn't have an issue with the fact that their cat was sitting on the counter next to them.
Yeah, they brought it. That's normal. You just a little cat hair in your mouth. It's fine.
I think that it does, whether you have animals or not, when you're going to cook, before you pull anything out of your refrigerator, your pantry, sterilize your counters. Well, I cleaned them after I washed dishes. Yes, but is there other people living in your house? Have they walked through your kitchen? Have they touched your counters? Clean them.
Yeah.
You can have the oldest kitchen in the world. It can still be clean.
Yeah. Here's the thought that really messes with me. Because I didn't pay a lot of attention to this kind of thing until I married into a restaurant family. Because like I was just like, yeah, it's food. It's fine. Whatever, you know. And now that I'm more aware, my fear is this, is that old sister Jenny, who brought the pot of greens, she washed them in her bathtub. Because their sink wasn't big enough. Like that's like one of my fears. It's like, how do you know what their process is to what they're doing?
That's disgusting.
Isn't it?
It's so disgusting. Well, okay, here's the weird thing, because I'm real grossed out by things. You think about the original way of making wine, they stomped it. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I've seen. I've in Israel, in Nazareth, they have an old wine press that, you know, it's like this little dugout of the rock, the quarry, and it has this little spout at the end where they would step on it and the wine would, like, yeah, that's.
Do you remember that video where if you don't, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to find it. It was like a news lady and she was at a wine festival and she was trying to outstomp the other person and she fell and knocked the wind out of her. And she was like,
oh, gosh,
have you seen it?
No, I've not.
Oh, it's the funniest thing in the world.
I've seen I Love Lucy where they do the wine stomping.
But it's the idea that somebody's feet touched it. To me, I'm like, why are we okay with this?
It's strange.
It's gross.
I don't even like to look at people's feet.
No.
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I just think potlucks in general.
Okay, so let's take it to the next level. Potlucks. What about when, I think there's something so beautiful about people coming together at the church and having food. And how do you get around that if you're anti-potlucks? Like, what do?
You cater. Call a restaurant. And not like, it's got to be a clean restaurant.
But, okay, so, which is very few and far between if we're honest, that potluck, people bring what they have. Everybody has something they bring to the table. It goes back to Acts chapter 2. They took what they had and they broke bread and they shared from house to house. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So how do you justify that on budget? You just say everybody bring some money? Is that what you say?
The
church is just
I'm
gonna
not saying I have all the answers here, Amber. I'm just saying we should probably not potluck this thing anymore.
So I will tell you what I did when I was in high school. We got a new women's ministry director at our church, and they had a potluck. And I've never been in a restaurant family. I've been in a ministry family my whole life. And I get freaked out. I get freaked out when people cook and they taste it and they put the spoon back in.
Oh, gosh.
For my own family. If I taste it, the spoon goes in the dishwasher and I get another one. It's my family. I don't want to eat something that my spoon came out of my mouth and went back in while I'm such
it's a fresh spoon every time you taste
Every time. I use all the silverware in the house sometimes. Like it's like Thanksgiving, I have to run the dishwasher just to get silverware.
Absolutely.
Because I'm tasting things.
I was in Israel on a Holy Land tour.
Okay.
And we're at a hotel and there's a buffet.
Yes.
So you're eating at the buffet, right? You're just like, that's typical of what you eat there. Mm. So this group of people walk in from another country and walks up to the soup. I'm watching this guy because like something's about to happen. Mm-mm. So he walks up to the, like they have the soup containers that sit inside the counter.
Yeah.
And so he lifts it up and he looks at it and puts it back in there. I didn't say anything.
How did you not say anything?
I just knew I wasn't going to eat the soup.
Oh.
And I don't know what happened beyond that. I don't know if I was the only one that saw it, or if he passed on some kind of deal.
And that's when the cholera outbreak happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
gross.
Somebody might see that.
I hate buffets for that reason.
It's the same. They're the same thing, right?
Disgusting.
And somebody might see that and think, "Oh, that's normal."
It's not normal.
It's not.
It's disgusting. It shouldn't be okay in any country. Mm-mm. Okay, so this lady comes. She's at our church, lead in women's ministry, and I told her I was a teenager, and she didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, "Hey, I have an idea. You should get everyone who brings in the food to put their name in front of it and a recipe in case somebody wants it." She's like, "Oh, that's great." So then if they love it and everybody comes in and then they start wondering why certain food's not eaten. Well, you would have eaten if you didn't know who made it. But I'm going to tell you something. That was for my benefit. And my mom was like, "Hey, Amber, I cannot believe you did that." And I'm like, "Well, aren't you glad?" But I always would, the safe thing was whoever brought the KFC, I would just go get chicken out of that bucket, which now KFC is never clean.
Yeah. I don't know the last time I saw a KFC.
Aren't they like all connected with like Taco Bell and...
Yeah, they're like, but like when we were growing up, like that was a Sunday treat. We're going to go grab Chick-fil-A bucket.
Not Chick-fil-A, KFC.
KFC bucket. And we're going to get the big mac and cheese and the big
mashed potatoes and gravy.
And the biscuits.
Yes.
Because evidently we just lived on carbs.
And then we took that Sunday afternoon nap and just died.
Exactly.
Our pre-diabetic self is like, what is happening here? But that's, okay, yeah, you don't see those very often anymore. But I do know that the last time I had KFC, it didn't taste the same as it did when I was a kid. It's different.
They're woke. I'm kidding. I just had to drop the woke word in there.
But you know what? I like Popeyes better than I like KFC.
See, I'm not a big Cajun guy.
Really?
I don't like Cajun food. Sorry.
Well, you can get
Cajun friends.
Popeyes chicken without it being spicy.
It still has the Cajun spice.
So you're just like bland. You're just like oatmeal.
Southern.
Okay.
I mean, people think like when they hear that I grew up in Florida, they're like, "Oh, you grew up in like Miami." No, I grew up in basically South Georgia.
Okay.
So I like Southern.
So you
food.
like just good Southern fried
Southern
chicken.
food, fried chicken.
Do you know usually has some of the best fried chicken is the local grocery store?
Yeah. Have you ever been to Publix?
I've been to Publix before.
Go get a Publix chicken tender sub, the pub sub.
Okay.
I'm telling you, your life will never be the same.
Okay, so
there's a cult following about it.
Okay, so there's not Publix around here.
No.
But small towns in Texas have this little grocery store called Brookshire Brothers. Yeah. And I don't even know.
Did you know that Brookshire Brothers and Brookshire's are different companies?
No, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know if there's like a family split, but Brookshire Brothers and Brookshire's are totally different companies.
I did not know that.
Yeah, found that out.
But I know that they have in their deli, they have a hot plate meal. And Phil and I accidentally one day at work, we were like, let's just go grab some lunch. And in Montgomery, there just was not anything to choose from.
It's all Mexican food.
Yes. And so he said, oh, so-and-so said, let's go to Berkshire Brothers. I was like, that little grocery store? Like, I'm fine. I'm just going to grab I'm going to grab some French fries somewhere. Like, this is awful. We go in and we get chicken and mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans, and it was like my grandma cooked it. I'm not joking. It was so good.
Wow.
And now I couldn't eat in there.
No, you got to take it to go.
Well, it was just all these like workmen everywhere that like, and I'm just like, so we took it and went back to the church, and I'm like, this is good. But the women all had hairnets on. There's something about that that's promising. Mm-hmm. They showed up to do the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's health department stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. No potlucks is how you feel. I agree with you on the animal thing. What about when somebody has a baby or they've had surgery and people set up a meal train? Can we talk about that? Because I know that wasn't on your list, but I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think I'm okay with meal train, but I think the
food comes from the same kitchens.
No.
I'm going to throw a scenario out. Lindsay has some kind of a surgery, and you have 4 kids, and it's nothing major, her knee or something. Something's happened. Lindsay's down, and everybody in the church is like, "Oh, Pastor Derrick, we want to feed you." I don't know why that's the way your congregation sounds in my head.
People like that, Amber, that talk like that.
Okay, they're all like, "Oh, Derrick, we want to totally feed you," right? So there's somebody sets up a meal train. The people that make food for meal trains are the same people that would bring it to a potluck.
Possibly, yeah.
So how do you personally maneuver through that?
Yeah, so I blame everything on Lindsay. She can't have dairy or gluten, and so we're pretty limited on what people can bring us.
Do you know that cat hair is not limited to dairy and gluten?
Listen, I don't want to get in trouble here, so we may look at the list of who signed up. I don't know, and make an informed decision.
Yes,
that's where I'll leave it. But
yes.
Typically the people that are signed, at least when we've had a meal train, it's like people we know and trust, and it's like we don't open it up to like the whole church because we don't need that much.
So
food,
I think this is something that I think churches should do personally across the board. As churches have more than 100 people, any church that has more than 100 people, they should have they should have somebody that's their gifting in their hospitality department, that when they do a meal train for somebody who's had a baby, who's had surgery, who's had a death, there is a training on across the board. These are the standards in the way we prepare food.
I like that.
I do too. Because, well, first of all, hospitality is a biblical thing.
For sure.
Everything Jesus did, he fed people. There's something to be said about
all throughout the Gospels.
All of it, right?
That's my man.
So let's make it a normal practice to have some little Southern mama who's like, all right, here's how we're going to do it.
Yeah. Because you have to control it some way, because somebody can only eat lasagna for so many times. And if everybody's like lasagna, spaghetti, pasta, it's like they're going to be more unhealthy after their incident.
How'd they die? It wasn't the surgery. It was the
surgery
food.
was great. It's that their gallbladder couldn't take it.
There was a season where these little places popped up. I don't know if you guys ever saw them, but you go and they're ready meals,
casseroles or whatever.
Yeah, like your cracked chicken or whatever. You could get all that
chicken.
What you said. They brought cracked chicken to the thing. Yeah, they bring it and you just put it in the oven. And I think there's something super valuable about that, because oftentimes, like you go to when somebody's been sick or they've died, people bring so much food. It's so nice to have something that goes in the freezer.
Yeah.
Or unpopular opinion. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
gift card.
Yeah, I think gift cards are a great
They're
option.
the best things ever.
Buy them a gift card to DoorDash or...
Yes.
I mean, they'll only be able to get one meal, like for one person with that DoorDash card because the delivery fees, but at least it's something.
Do you know? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I know you don't like Cajun, but when the spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes,
Oh, yeah.
the thing is, oh, it's so good. So when I had COVID, really, really, really bad, I have a student that knew, like, we both loved that sandwich and they were selling out everywhere.
Yeah.
The doorbell rings and I'm like on the couch dying. Like, COVID was real.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Uh-huh.
Phil answers the door. And of course, during DoorDash, during COVID, they would like put it on the doorsteps and they would run for their life.
For sure.
And there was a giant bag of spicy chicken sandwiches from,
Oh my gosh.
it was the greatest gift ever. And
Yeah.
the worst thing, I couldn't taste any of it,
Oh.
but I loved it. Okay. So, Collective Church, if you're watching, Pastor Derrick would love for you guys to host a surprise potluck.
Listen, they can probably already put two and two together that we'd never had a potluck. We did have a chili cook-off, and that was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
All in pot.
Do you know what's crazy? Do you know who usually submits entries in chili cook-offs? Men.
Yeah, we're very proud of our chili. I mean, I don't make chili. I shouldn't say that. I'm
But,
not
like,
like a
it's
chili like
Barbecue
purist.
and chili are like a man's like specialty.
Yeah.
Beans or no beans?
I don't have an opinion. It doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with either. I don't know why like the no beans or beans thing is such like people get angry.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, so let me explain a little bit. Texan is typically no beans.
I know it's no bean.
But, and here's why. I grew up where beans were a meal. Like, we would have beans as a meal.
Beans and rice, yeah.
So when you add beans to your chili, it's like, okay, are you having beans or are you having chili? To me, if beans are in your chili, it was something left over.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like
I
beans
don't mind
and
it
chili.
as long as the flavor's good and it doesn't burn my mouth.
So you don't like heat?
No, I'm a.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a-
no
I'm a
Cajun, no
wimpy.
spice.
Yeah, I'm wimpy on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just don't. I always think that I can eat those things and then I regret it, and I'll leave out why I regret it, but I regret it later. And then my wife has no sympathy for me. She's like,
Does she like spice?
No, not at all. She's like, you shouldn't have ate that. You know?
Okay. So no potlucks ever at Collective Church.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, we love Jesus too much.
My grandma would be rolling over in her grave
She
right now.
just did.
She just did a somersault. She's like, well, you haven't had my potatoes, little boy.
I know. Everybody's is the best. We get it.
Everybody's. You know, now I take so much pride in what I make. Now I'm going to
You're
be
gonna be
paranoid.
self-conscious.
I know all the time I'm going to be like, they're like, is it good? I mean, it's okay. Just
Is this
try
the best?
it. I don't know.
just you tell me.
You just tell me what you 1 to 10. Rate it now. Tell me what you think. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The good thing about taking away potlucks is you no longer judge the old ladies in the church of like who has the best meal.
But you know what? Those old ladies, I will if I'm driving and I see a church that's having like a church bazaar, what they used to call them, or like a sale.
It's a good name for it.
I don't know why it's called bazaar, but that's what it was called. If they're selling a cookbook, I will pull over and go in and buy a cookbook, because those recipes, they take Ina Garden and put her in the back, and they just to a whole new level. You know, when they say oleo, and you're like, what the heck is oleo? It's butter. It's actually margarine, right? Margarine. Am I saying it right?
You said margin at first.
Margarine.
We need some of that too.
We do. But like, I was like, what is oleo? Okay, those old lady cookbooks are so good.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
I'm going to start collecting them for you too.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Do you think that they cared about gluten and dairy in those cookbooks?
No, but you know what? Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Gluten and dairy was not a big deal back then because people moved all the time. They were working all the time. Nobody watched TV.
Yeah.
Nobody was sitting on their butt. If they were playing cards with their friends. Like nobody just... The world was different.
Sure.
Work meant active. It had nothing to do with sitting. I think that just it was, and portions were smaller.
True.
I mean, they said Marilyn Monroe was overweight. And that Kim Kardashian tore the dress trying to get into it. I know you're like, what are you talking about? My point
I don't
is...
know where this podcast just went.
But my point is...
But I did mention Diddy in my sermon yesterday, so...
Hayden told me. I was like, oh my gosh. No, but it's the fact that as America, we've just gotten lazier and bigger.
Yeah.
And what we used to call fat is considered really skinny now. And I think that that's interesting. Like Marilyn Monroe was overweight, and now she would be considered ultra skinny.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little self-conscious now, so if we wrap this up.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. All right. So no potlucks. But if your church is having a potluck, Derrick would love to come and be the guest speaker that weekend.
I would, yeah. And I'll have a little snack bag of my own food.
He brought a lunchbox. That guy's weird.
Yeah. Restricted diet.
Stop.
Restricted
You can get away
from
with
death.
that now. From cat hair. I don't want to eat your cat hair. All right. Thank you for doing this. Let's do this again.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.